What's good, YouTube? In this video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 weapons for Arena's rank. And these weapons right here are the power weapons in Arenas. They're the weapons that a majority of people use to, do good, get wins, get kills. So if you're not using one of these weapons, then I would really recommend using them because it will help you out a lot. So with the first weapon that we have at number 5, we have the G7 Scout. Now, I have the G7 Scout at number 5 because it's one of the best, if not the best, long range weapon. That's dependent on the person, but it's very good at long range. Now, I have it at number 5 compared to maybe in the top 3 because it's really a long range weapon. You're not going to use it for up close. You're not going to use it, maybe for mid range, but it's mainly for long range. And like I said, it's one of the best guns for range. It takes slide ammo, so that means you'll have plenty of ammo. And a trick that you could do is when you take a G7 in the first or 2 rounds, take your secondary and pick a P20. The reason why you want to do this is because it will help with the ammo, right? You'll have more ammo than compared to if you had took a Mozambique as a secondary. So you'll never have to worry about ammo in the early rounds when you're using a G7. And honestly, you really only have to level it one time for you to get the bruiser, and it's very cost efficient, right? You don't have to spend that much. But I know in the first round you can't get the bruiser. You have to wait until the second round to get the bruiser. And really that's all you need with the G7, really, is to level it up one time because it's a very good gun. It's strong, it's pretty accurate, and all you really need is just that sight. Even though if you upgrade it twice, though, you could get it to a Ranger, and if you upgrade it 4 times or 3 times, you get it to the 2x4 if you prefer that. But G7 I have at number 5 because it's a very good gun at range and very consistent when using it. Now at number 4, we have the new gun in Season 10, which is the Rampage. The reason why I have the Rampage over the G7 is because it does everything the G7 does, right? When it comes to long range and mid range, it's a strong gun. It's actually very accurate. So this gun, and also the iron sights are better than the G7, and even if you use a red dot, it's pretty good as well. So the reason I have the Rampage on number 4 over the G7 is because the difference between this gun and the G7 is it slows enemies down when you hit them because it is a heavy ammo type of gun, and when you slow them down, you could definitely catch them sliding, and you could stop that and it'll affect the enemies easily, right? It's a strong gun. It does 28 damage per shot, and I believe it does 42 damage to the head, so that's good. Also, this Rampage is very good when you use thermites. You do have to buy thermites you don't have to buy it with the Rampage, but if you do buy thermites, just know that it costs 100 materials for 1 thermite. So using 1 thermite with the Rampage helps it increase the fire rate. Now this fire rate is good, and it will help the gun a lot in those medium to short range type of gunfights. To believe it or not, the hip fire is also, it's pretty good, at least for an LMG. The Rampage is for the hip fire. It's better than the G7. So this is why I have the G7. This is why I have the Rampage at number 4. Now at number 3, we have the Wingman. Now the reason I have the Wingman at number 3 is because, well, first, I know it has to be in the top 5, especially for arenas, right? The Wingman it could be anyone's number 1 easily because this gun is really, really good. But just because it could be someone's number 1, it could also be someone's worst gun. This gun is the most skilled gun in Apex, and in arenas you could definitely see if someone who uses this gun, who's very good at it, they will easily delete the enemies, right? And if you can picture a whole team using wingmans where all of them are good with it, oh, it's GG's for you guys. This gun is good at short range, mid range, and even if it tags you at long range, it's still going to do the 45 damage, right? And it does 90 damage to the head. So the wingman, in my opinion, has to be in the top 5. The reason I have it at number 3, me personally, I'm not very good with the wingman. You know, when I go into arenas, like especially arena pubs, I mainly use this gun to practice with and get better with, because I know the potential that it has to make someone be very good in game when they use this wingman. So it has to be in the top 5, and for me, I have it at number 3 because it's in the middle of the top 5, and it's just to let anyone know that, you know, try and use this wingman, because if you get perfected, or at least, you know, get good at it, trust me, you'll get a lot better in arenas or in BR or anything, right? You'll just get good at the game because of this weapon. Now at number 2, in my opinion, the best gun for short range has to be the gun that came back on the floor, which was recently in the care package for the past couple of seasons, which is the Prowler. Right, I have the Prowler at number 2 in my top 5 weapons for arenas because I feel like it's the best short range weapon. Right, if you ever go against somebody who is using a Prowler, you definitely want to stay at distance. Now, even at distance, like medium range, the Prowler could still do damage to you. But just know that when you're using the Prowler, it's the best close range gun. And one of the biggest things also about it is it only costs 450 materials. I don't know why that is compared to other guns, or at least other submachine guns like the Volt, which I believe is 500, and the R9, which is 500, or I think the Volt might be 550. One of them is 550, the other is 500, but the Prowler is at 450, which means you have an extra 100 to spend in the first round. And usually you could buy a shield cell, you could buy a grenade, and if, like me personally, when I use Seer, one of the main things I'll do is I'll pick the Prowler first round because Seer's tactical ability costs 100 materials. So that means you could take the Prowler, one of the best guns, and then have an extra tactical ability. So this means you have 2 abilities and one of the best close range weapons. And like I said in my previous video, when playing with Seer, you definitely want to get close range and get close to the enemy. So this is perfect for someone like Seer. But even though, if you take the Prowler, like I said, take a shield cell, take a grenade, you have extra things you could use when using a Prowler. So it definitely helps you with getting more stuff in your inventory. That's a big plus when using the Prowler. And not only that, is easily, you could three burst people with this gun, you know. So you don't really, it's good to have a mag, but you don't have to have a mag, especially in the first round when it's just blue shields. So that's good. Now another reason why I have the Prowler at number 2 is because it's very good in, like I said, in the early rounds. It's also very good in the mid rounds when you level it up, right? You level up to maybe a blue tier where you have a blue mag where it has 30 rounds in it, and now you can put your type of sight that you want on the Prowler. So that's very good, and it's cost efficient. So you can plan around your other gun, or not other gun, but you're planning around your other like stuff in your inventory, like the grenades, the batteries, med kits, abilities, right? So that helps out a lot, and it's very good late round as well. It's a very good gun in all rounds. You can never go wrong using a Prowler because it's one of the best close range weapons. If it fits your playstyle, being a close range, you go into the enemies, I definitely recommend picking this gun up. Now at number 1, everyone knows easily, if you play arenas, or if you play arenas, you know that the number 1 gun in arena is hands down the L-Star. Right? Anyone can use this gun. This gun is so good. It's good at everything, right? It's good at early rounds, mid rounds, late rounds. It's good in close range, mid range, long range. This gun is so versatile, and it's just so crazy. Even you can take this gun, have it stocked right at 500 materials when you buy it. You could take it in the second round and spend your other materials on other things, and you'll still be good. You'll still have an OP type of weapon. It's just, this gun is so good, right? The L-Star is easily the #1 gun in arenas. And like I said, it's so good that you can use any sight with it also, right? The iron sights are really good on this gun compared to other guns, right? Other guns, some guns, their iron sights are trash. But this one is really good, right? You can use the red dot, the one-time sight. I like the one dot sight. I think that's very good. But my favorite sight on this gun is the bruiser. It helps out with the mid to long range when you're fighting. And even the 3x ranger, that sight is really good. That sight, you could one clip people from medium to long range easily with this L-Star, right? Another thing with this L-Star is it helps in short range battles because you can easily, how can I say this? You can easily blind the enemies when you're fighting them because it's just the L-Star, right? The L-Star, it blinds enemies. I don't know what it is, but that gun helps you out a lot in short range battles because of it. They said this season that they nerfed the hipfire, but especially for an LMG, the hipfire is really good, and it still is good. It has gotten nerfed a little bit, but it's still a really good short range weapon. So with that, it makes it a really annoying gun to go against. And not only that, another thing that makes it annoying to go against, and the reason why it makes it one of the best guns, is because the ammo is so good, right? For some reason, like sometimes in some games I'll run out of ammo, but you have to shoot a lot for it to run out. And not only that, you don't really have to reload the gun. You could easily hit someone for like 100, 120, and then stop for a split second, and then go damage someone for another 100 to 120, because you don't really have to reload. You could push, this gun puts damage into the enemies. You could easily rack up your damage and get high damage games with this gun. There's so many things with this L-Star gun that makes it so good. If you guys haven't used this gun and especially if you haven't used it in arenas, I definitely recommend you use it. If you're in high level ranks, you already know that a lot of people use this gun. A lot of tryhards will use this gun. So, like I said, the L-Star is at #1. Now, if you guys like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next one.